How's it going, everyone? It's GadgetsBoy. Welcome to another video. This one we're going to be talking about identity theft and ID protection. Before I begin, this video is sponsored by F-Secure, a Finnish-based cybersecurity service provider that I've been using for a while now for my 360 protection when I'm online. So when it comes to VPN, antivirus, and ID protection, that's my go-to service that I've been using. F-Secure has a new product called ID protection, and it prevents identity theft online. F-Secure's ID protection combines the world's easiest to use password manager with online password data management. It detects if your personal information has been leaked to the World Wide Web. With the world moving closer and closer to service-based offerings, more apps are launching daily as well, whether it's photo editing or social media platforms. We are trusting more websites and platforms by inputting our information, our personal data, into all of them. But often they don't tell you when there's a data breach, or when that happens, they don't really tell you what to do or what's actually been leaked as well. If your personal information gets leaked online, chances are people might be able to sell it on the dark web. They might be able to use it for identity theft and pretend to be you to take over your social media accounts, for example, or even take out personal loans. Some of these things I've actually seen happen before, over and over before. Here's an experience of my own. My emails are running on Google services, and I remember getting an email once about access to my account. So someone else is getting access to my account. And also baffled because I had two-factor authentication turned on. So to me, it's something that's virtually impossible with two-factor authentication, right? It turns out my password is always the weakest link. Using F-Secure, I generated a stronger password to ensure it's secure, and F-Secure constantly monitoring my ID online for identity theft or leaks. So with ID protection, it means that they can always notify me by email if my email, my data, or even my password is spotted online anywhere. They even have undercover people that constantly monitor all corners of the interwebs to make sure that no one is trying to be you or even searching for things like your password or things like your email address, your name, all that kind of usual information that you would put into any website that you register to use. According to a fraud prevention group, Cifas, there were more than 189,000 cases in the UK alone of identity fraud. That's ridiculous, and this is 2018. So imagine what it's like in 2020. Cifas also found that 65% of identity theft victims had a social media or online presence. Criminals simply scanned the web for readily available information like name, date of birth, email, and telephone number, making this the #1 method of obtaining personal details. Another one, fraudsters also rely heavily on phishing scams to get hold of personal details. Around 35% of identity theft can be tracked back to this particular type of cybercrime. Joint research by Cifas and data software innovator Forensic Pathways found more than 10,000 posts soliciting personal information, personal financial information for sale on the dark web. According to a price list found on the dark web, PayPal logins were worth more than £300 to an identity theft or identity fraudster. The next hot ticket item are banking details valued at £161. On the other hand, delivery logins are quite literally as still as just £3.74. And this has happened to me before. My delivery account got hacked. Food got ordered to a different address, and I had to ring up straight away thinking, what's going on here? So they had to delete the whole account and set up a new one. People who use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat were particularly vulnerable. So users on these sites have a 46% higher risk of account takeovers and fraud than those active on other social media networks. So if you use platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, which most of us use these days, including TikTok, then having F-Secure ID protection is something that you should genuinely consider. It works on your laptop, works on your mobile phone. So it's, again, 360 protection to make sure that everything is always monitored. Identity theft is not just down to you entering your information on websites or platforms. It's also down to using unsecured connectivity from Wi-Fi or even your 5G on your smartphone, for example. So whether you're using F-Secure on your laptop, for example, you got a browser extension that will make sure that everything's been kept an eye on, monitored to make sure no one's watching you. You got a VPN from Freedom to make sure, again, that all your browsing traffic are secure through VPNs. Again, it makes you nice and secure. Your location is also hidden as well, which can be very useful. With ID protection, it's linked across all your devices. So up to 5 devices. In my case, I'm only using 2 right now. So my laptop and also my smartphone. So my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. And with this, all I have to do is enter my email address on the settings dashboard. And all my email addresses are entered in there. So again, everything's being monitored. So anytime those email addresses are spotted online somewhere on the web that I don't even know about, I get notified straight away. And what it also does is it then generates recommendations for what I could do to prevent these things, shows me where it's been leaked and what's actually been leaked. So if it's my password, I know to change my password straight away. I can also generate a really, really secure password, super secure password using the ID protection service as well, and keep that in a vault. So again, it's linked across my devices, so I don't have to try and remember it. I can just go back into this application, log in using my master password so I don't forget. So it's nicely secure again. I can then log in and use that password I've already generated. If I prefer, I can also set my own password, but I would recommend generating a super secure password that's full of different characters and all sorts that's hard to decipher. So what are the 3 services that are quite key for me? So I've got the F-Secure Safe, I've got the Freedom for VPN and tracking, and I've also got my identity protection services, so ID Protect. So with ID Protect, my emails are constantly monitored to make sure no one's copying my ID online, and make sure that I'm safe when I'm browsing online as well. With F-Secure Safe, it means I've got my antivirus running. I know people think Macs don't get viruses. Yes, they do. And it monitors my smartphone as well. So every time I download a new application, for example, it will let me know that it's actually safe to use that application, which is pretty cool. I love the interface across all the platforms. So it allows me to easily change settings, make sure that everything's running up and running very well, the way they should do. And also ID protection, I really love the interface, especially on my smartphone. It means on the smartphone, I can easily see things like my monitored email addresses. I can see the breaches as well. I can see the severity. So from really severe, high severe ones. And when I click on there, it tells me what's actually exposed, like my email address, my username, and a password, for example. I can even see what the password is that's actually been exposed. And with this, it just means that I can change my password across the board, whether I feel like it's been exposed. Again, using that secure generated password, it means it's highly secure and no one's going to be deciphering that anytime soon. Overall message is that it's high time, if you haven't done it already, if you don't already, is to take your identity online very seriously, because people having access to these things means they can take out loans, even mortgages. It's happened before. They can take out a new car on finance, for example. They can even get access to your social media, which in my case, it's part of my business. So if someone gains access to something I've built over the years, that would be really, really painful for me to know, to experience. So it's actually really good to be safe and secure online every time I browse using my browser. So that's it for F-Secure ID protection, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any questions or experience of your own, please do share as well. In the meantime, all relevant links will be in the description area as always. If this is your first time on the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification as well, so you'll be one of the first people to know every time there's a video upon the channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.